Rain lashed against the cracked window of the bus shelter, dripping through a hole in the plastic roof and splattering onto the woman's worn sneakers. Her name was Claire, 32, single mother, widow. Her jeans were faded to a greyish blue, knees thinned from too much scrubbing on too many cheap apartment floors. She hugged her son, Milo, closer. He was 6, thin as a branch, with hair that never seemed to lie flat no matter how she tried. The boy slept against her shoulder, breathing softly, his duct-taped backpack sliding halfway down his arm. And there, tucked between the straps, was an envelope, unpaid rent notice, corners curling, ink smudged from her hands. The bus hissed to a stop, doors groaning open. She counted coins from her pocket with trembling fingers, breath clouding the air. 1 quarter rolled to the edge of the shelter floor before she snatched it, heart hammering. Just enough for the ride to the airport. Just enough to take the only chance she had left. A job interview she'd begged for over the phone, her voice shaking, promising she could make it in time. But the universe had a strange way of playing games. The terminal smelled of coffee and floor polish. Overhead boards flickered with flight numbers, letters rearranging like they had secrets. She clutched Milo's hand, eyes scanning for the right gate. The boy yawned, rubbing his eyes with a small fist. "Mom, I'm hungry," he whispered. Her throat tightened. In her purse, a single granola bar. She broke it in half, offered the bigger piece to him with a smile that hurt her cheeks. He didn't notice the shine in her eyes. At the gate, the announcement blared. Something about boarding changes, delays, weather reroutes. Claire didn't catch all of it, just followed the stream of passengers, trusting the sign above. She didn't know until too late she had followed the wrong stream, and so she boarded a plane not heading for her interview in Denver, but for Seattle. The man beside her looked like he belonged to another planet. Crisp white shirt under a tailored charcoal blazer, wristwatch gleaming like it cost more than her apartment rent for the year. His hair, dark and neatly cut, glinted under the cabin lights. He typed on a laptop with quick precision, a faint crease between his brows. When the flight attendant handed him sparkling water, he barely looked up, murmuring thanks in a voice smooth as if poured from a glass bottle. Claire kept her eyes on her hands. Nails short, skin rough from cleaning jobs. She felt the torn hem of her sleeve like a spotlight. But Milo, restless after the granola bar vanished, peered over the armrest. "What's your name, mister?" he asked, with the bluntness only children had. The man blinked, as if startled out of his bubble. Then slowly he closed the laptop.
"Ethan," he said.
"And you?" Milo, the boy grinned, chocolate crumbs on his lip. "My mom says we're going to a better life," Claire froze. Heat rushed to her cheeks. "Milo?" she murmured, trying for a light tone. "Let the man work." But Ethan studied her now, gaze flicking over the tired lines around her eyes, the thrift store coat with its missing button. Something softened in his expression. When turbulence jolted the plane, Claire gripped the armrest, breath catching. Ethan noticed the tremor in her hands. "First time flying?" he asked. She nodded, lips pressed tight. "Don't worry," he said quietly. "It's just bumps in the road." His calmness made her chest ache. By the time the captain announced Seattle, panic set in. Claire realized the mistake, clutching the ticket with wide eyes.
"Wrong flight, no job."
No money left for another ticket, Milo blinked at her.
"Mum, what's wrong?" Her voice cracked. I messed up, baby," Ethan heard.
He closed his laptop again, studying the frayed strap on her purse, the duct tape on Milo's backpack, the way she bit her lip like she was holding the whole world together with her teeth. Outside, rain streaked the windows. Seattle, grey and wet. Claire felt something inside her sinking fast, like a stone in dark water. Ethan spoke slowly, carefully.
"Do you have somewhere to stay?"
She shook her head. His jaw tightened. He didn't know why it mattered to him, this stranger with tired eyes, but it did. And when Milo sneezed softly, shivering under the thin jacket, Ethan felt something twist hard in his chest. "Come on," he said finally. "I'll help you find a place tonight." She looked at him, wary, desperate, not sure whether to trust, and in that moment, thunder cracked outside the airport glass, the sound rolling like a warning. Claire hesitated in the arrivals hall, Milo clinging to her side like a shadow. The airport buzzed around them, business suits wheeling sleek luggage, families rushing toward taxis, neon lights flickering over coffee stands. She stood there with her single duffel bag, thrift store coat, and a son whose shoes squeaked with every wet step.
Ethan made a quick call on his phone, his voice low, precise.
He didn't look like someone who got wet in the rain. He didn't look like someone who waited for buses or counted coins at self-checkout machines. And yet here he was, telling someone on the line to prepare a room at a hotel downtown. "You don't have to," Claire murmured, words catching in her throat. He glanced at her. "It's just one night.
No strings."
The kid shouldn't be out in this weather." The cab ride felt unreal. Milo's head drooped onto Claire's lap as the city blurred past, neon reflections swimming in puddles along the sidewalks. Her phone buzzed once, landlord's message, final notice. She slipped it back into her purse like she could hide it from reality. The hotel lobby glowed warm, all polished marble and soft jazz, a stark contrast to the biting wind outside. Claire felt the eyes of the concierge sweep over her damp coat, the worn duffel bag, her scuffed sneakers leaving faint water prints on the floor. Ethan simply said, "They're with me." And that ended it. In the room, Milo collapsed onto the bed, asleep before his shoes were off. Claire stood near the window, arms folded tight, watching rain smear the city lights. "You don't know us," she said finally. "Why help?" Ethan loosened his tie, the first hint of weariness in his movements. "Because I can," he said simply.
"And because maybe I've been where you are."
"Not the same way, but close enough," she turned, surprised. He didn't elaborate, just poured 2 glasses of water from the minibar, handed her one. Their fingers brushed briefly, her hands cold, his warm and steady. Hours later, while Milo slept, Claire searched flights on the hotel's free Wi-Fi. Prices made her stomach twist. The job in Denver would be gone by morning. She could almost hear the HR woman's voice. "I'm sorry." We had to fill the position. She shut the laptop, tears pressing hot behind her eyes. The next morning, Ethan appeared in a fresh suit, hair damp from the shower, looking like he belonged to the world on the other side of the glass doors downstairs. "I can get you to Denver," he said matter-of-factly, as if arranging impossible things was routine for him. "Private flight."
"Leaves in 2 hours," Claire stared. "That sounds expensive," he shrugged.
"Not for me." Then softer. "You said you needed this job." She wanted to argue, pride prickling, but Milo stirred awake, small face hopeful at the word Denver. She swallowed her protest. The private terminal was quiet, almost surreal. Milo pressed his nose to the window, watching the sleek jet waiting on the tarmac. Claire hugged herself, wind whipping her hair, feeling like she'd stepped into someone else's life by accident. During the flight, Ethan spoke little, but he handed Milo a chocolate bar, watched the boy's eyes light up, watched Claire's shoulders slowly loosen, exhaustion replacing constant tension. When they landed, he gave her a folded piece of paper. "What's this?"
She asked. "A name?" he said.
"Someone I know in Denver."
"HR director for a logistics firm. Bigger than whatever company you were interviewing for."
"Tell her I sent you." She blinked, words failing. He added quietly, "People opened doors for me once. Figured it's time I do the same." The interview at the logistics firm didn't just go well, it felt like the first crack of sunlight after years of grey. By week's end, she had a job offer, decent pay,
Health insurance.
a relocation stipend. She stood outside the office building afterward, wind tugging at her hair, heart hammering with disbelief. She texted Ethan the news. For a long time, no reply. Then, told you doors can open. Months later, she met him again, this time not as the tired woman with the duct-taped backpack, but as someone standing on her own feet. Milo ran up to Ethan in the cafe, chattering about his new school, the puppy they'd adopted, the apartment with the balcony that looked out over the park. Claire watched them, coffee warming her hands, a strange ache in her chest. Not romantic, not yet. Just the deep, steady gratitude of someone whose life had been rerouted by a stranger's choice to care. Ethan smiled faintly, listening to Milo. Then to Claire, softly. One act of kindness.
That's all it takes sometimes, she nodded, throat tight.
Because she knew he was right, and maybe, just maybe, that single choice had changed them both.